Yasas, and welcome to the second instalment of my kitchen odyssey. I hadn't actually planned to do another episode quite so quickly, but I did get a lot of great feedback and also a request from my lovely friend Joe, hi Joe, to do an Easter special. And given here in the UK it's Easter, of course, next weekend in Greece, I thought I'd show you a nice lamb recipe that you could maybe do for Easter this weekend or next weekend. So today what I want to do for you is a Cretan dish, Arnί Οφτό, which is a roast lamb with a lovely rich basting sauce, and it's absolutely tasty and can go with pretty much anything. And when we've got sunshine like this, it's exactly the food you want to be eating. So first thing we want to do is actually get the sauce started. So it's not a real sauce as such, but what you do is you baste the lamb with it. So what we do is we start with about half a bottle of red wine. That goes in, and we want to bring that up to the boil. Good thing is that we're only using half a bottle, is it leaves us a bit spare to help with the process. So into that we also want to add some fresh rosemary, in that goes, and about half a tablespoon of fine salt. So in that goes, and we're going to get that going up to a boil. So whilst that's going on, then we can prepare our lamb. It's dead easy, even I can do it, so it's not going to be a challenge for anybody. So what we're using today is a nice shoulder of lamb, and we'll just move him over here. Actually, use that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to prep this with studding it with garlic and rosemary, so we get those rich flavours infusing into the meat as we go. So you want to make some nice deep incisions into the lamb. Nice sharp knife. Think about whoever you want while you do this. There you go. It's very satisfying. Create a nice few pockets to get the garlic we're going to put into there going. So just create all of this over the shoulder, top and bottom, so we get that flavour infusing all the way through. Just create a few pockets like that. We can always create more if we need to. So I'm going to use 2 cloves of garlic today. You know, if you're a real fan, you can use more, no problem at all. If you don't like it, you can leave it out and maybe just go with some rosemary. But certainly, I think the garlic flavour really adds to the dish. So nice 2 big fat cloves of garlic, really nice. Our wine is starting to bubble away there, so he'll be coming up to the boil. So what you don't want is to cut these too thinly. You want that rich kind of flavour. It's also when you come to eat the dish, you can bite into these lovely roasted chunks of garlic, which you'll find obviously throughout the lamb as you tear it and share it. It's an absolute classic rustic dish. So what I'm going to do now is just thread some of this garlic into the holes that we've made. If we can't find the holes that we made, we can make some new ones. That's what knives are for, and a good positive attitude. So in we go with these. It's nice fat garlic cloves, so I need to open up some of these cavities a little. That's great. And a bit more. So this is a real classic Easter dish, lamb being obviously a traditional dish eaten at Easter both here and in Greece, but I have to say, and despite being a Welshman, that Cretan lamb is the best. The way it's cooked, it's just so utterly delicious. I really, really love it. So apologies, because Joe's Welsh as well, so sorry Joe. But hopefully this is going to be something that hits the spot for us as well. So just do 1 more piece of garlic in there, and that's great. So we set that aside now, no longer needed. We've got our wine boiling away. I'm just going to leave that to boil a little bit. It's not going to be reduced at all. We're not going to make it like a sticky glaze. It is going to still be a liquid, but I'm just going to let that just roll on for a bit whilst I just put in the rosemary that we're going to put into the lamb. So we've got some more of this lovely fresh rosemary, which we're now just going to tear little bits and stuff it into the same cavities where you've got the garlic. And that combination of flavours, whilst it roasts for a little while, it really infuses into the meat rather than just relying on what goes in, you know, on the sort of glaze that we're putting on it. So just going to stuff those few bits of rosemary in there as well. So the actual cooking of this dish is dead simple. A little bit of prep, you know, we've got some sunshine, we've got a glass of wine as well. It's a nice easy one to do, and it will taste delicious. So we're just going to flip him over there, get a little bit more of this fantastic rosemary into the cavities, and one more, and there we go. So there we have, I'm going to stuff one more because I've just spotted a lovely space there in the meat. So we're going to get a little bit of rosemary, and I've got one more slice of garlic. You can go in there as well. What do you say? Fantastic. There we go. We've got our lamb studded with garlic and rosemary now. So the rest of it is dead simple now. What we want to do is get a roasting pan with a rack, pop him up there, and on with our lamb. Just going to wash the old hands just to make it a little bit easier. Now, we're going to do a little bit more to this lamb just before it goes into the oven. Very, very simple. What we want to do now is take about a tablespoon of coarse sea salt. Okay, so what we want to do is just drizzle that all over our lamb, and then you need to work it in to the little nooks and crannies and into the flesh so it nice sticks. And this helps give a real, not a full crust to the lamb, but it crisps up that skin beautifully and helps absorb all of those flavours. So with the salt on there now, we'll just clear that. And all we need now to do is just take our lovely wine sauce now, which has been having a little bubble, and we're just going to dab him all over. We're going to paint him with our lovely wine, which smells delicious actually. I'm rather glad I've opened this bottle. And we'll get him all nice and covered. Don't knock all of the salt off while you're doing this. You shouldn't do, because you'll have pressed it in. But there we have the first basting. Now all we want to do now is pop our lamb into the oven for 20 minutes at first. Now we've got an oven preheated to 200 degrees. So we'll put it in there for 200 degrees for 20 minutes. After that 20 minutes, we turn the heat down to 180. That first 200 gives it that kind of outer crispiness, which is great. And then we want to cook the meat a bit slower. So in it goes for 20 minutes, turn them down at 180. Then we baste again, and actually we baste every 20 minutes as the lamb cooks. Now for a joint like this, I think we're looking about an hour and a half. Keep an eye on it, you'll be basting every 20 minutes anyway, so you'll be able to see it. But I reckon we're talking about an hour and a half now. So that's the work done. It is that simple. So in the finest tradition of my kitchen odysseys, it's time for a glass of this in the sunshine, whilst the lamb does all the hard work. So we'll come back in a couple of hours and we'll have a look and see how it goes. Okay, so it's time to check on the lamb. It's taken a little longer than I thought. I guessed about an hour and a half. It's actually been further towards the 2 hours. Still getting the hang of this oven, which isn't the fan one I normally use, but it's looking great on the last basting, so hopefully it's fine. Let's go and have a quick look now and see what you think. The smell is amazing. Fantastic. This is just the ticket. So I'm going to see if I can show you without throwing it everywhere or burning myself. But there we have it. Absolutely fantastic. It's got this kind of dark coating to it, which is partly from the red wine and obviously partly from the roasting, but it's got this lovely finish to it. It's absolutely amazing smell. You can smell the garlic and the rosemary coming through. So yeah, absolutely happy with that. So what we're going to do is just carve it up, plate it up, and see what you think. Don't be too precious about how you carve and serve this. It's a proper rustic dish. So let's just plate a little bit of this up. Absolutely fantastic. On a beautiful sunny day like today, I think this is probably best going to be served with some roast potatoes and a Greek salad. Absolutely classic. And not forgetting, always with roast lamb, some homemade tzatziki. Hope you enjoyed it. Happy Easter. Καλό Πάσχα.